Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows. It is Sunday, June 16th. It's Father's Day. It's 2:15 p.m. in the afternoon. Yesterday got away from me a little bit because my daughter is starting her work today, and she needed to do some setup and stuff like that for yesterday. Plus, there was a Eagle Court of Honor she had to go to, and she had to pack and do all that stuff. And then she wanted to watch some Fallout before she left, which we did watch, and I'll have a little bit of review for you on that. So I got the research done. I just didn't feel the urge to do the show last night like I usually did. So here we are on Sunday. That's why it's light in the back. And not looking forward to this week, despite the fact that it is my birthday week. My birthday will be on Thursday, June 20th, which also coincidentally is the first day of summer, which happens only every 4 years on leap day, or leap year, I should say, due to the leap day. My birthday is the first day of summer. And in 2 years, it'll be actually 3 years. In 3 years, it'll be on Father's Day. So that'll be interesting to see that. But yeah, this week is going to suck because fucking summer decided that they're going to start a few days early before summer starts and then hit us full on. People who know me know I hate summer, and due to the fact that the temperature is so bad. That's my issues I have with it right now. But here's what we got temperature-wise. 89 tomorrow, 90 Tuesday, 89 Wednesday, 90 Thursday, 93 Friday, 98 Saturday, 92 Sunday. And then it looks like we're going to get cooler the week that the kids are at camp, which is actually pretty good for them, 87 and 82, so that's pretty good. But yeah, not 98 degrees Saturday is going to be awful. Anyway, 98 degrees, that's awful. But yeah, it's going to be a birthday week in hell, as it were, which is the name of this episode, because it's going to be so freaking hot. So that's what's going on with that. So what else we got going on today? So we had some Fallout reviews. We'll have some discussion about the James Gunn's DCU. We will have talks about trailers and deaths and anniversaries, a lot of anniversaries. Inside Out 2, The Haters Can Suck It, because it is the biggest movie of the summer of the year so far right now. So it can go suck my balls for all that matters. So because of all the haters involved with that who were undervaluing it, people just don't quite understand what's going on because people are stupid. Dolphins, production starts, casting, a lot of crazy animal sightings, which are signs of stuff that could be good coming our way. So that's good. The HF Festival is back. We'll talk about that. Could we actually be seeing Spaceballs 2? We're also going to be seeing a Practical Magic 2. So we've got some discussions there, but a lot of anniversaries. Oh my God, so many anniversaries. It's insane. So let's see. So let's begin by saying, school ended for the kids on Wednesday. And, technically Friday was the last day of school. But the Thursday and Friday at the high school were half days and were really meant only for people who missed their exams. So if you missed your exams, you could come in on Thursday and Friday and make them up. But if you had finished everything, got everything hit like that, Wednesday was your last day. So my kids, Wednesday was their last day. We let them stay home Thursday, Friday because they had all finished their exams. Everything was done. So there's no reason for it. Plus my daughter was immediately going to have to start going up to camp because we took her up there. My wife took her up there this morning. She'll be up there until Saturday, and then we'll have to go get her on Saturday, and she'll come back down, spend 24 hours here. If that might be less than that, might be like 12 hours, 12 to 16 hours. Then next Sunday is when I go solo for a week. My wife and kids, it's the actual first week of camp. This is my daughter's training this week. Next week is the first actual week of summer camp, and my wife and son and daughter's troops are all going up that week. So I'll be home alone that week. That also will culminate next Saturday, not this upcoming one, because we're on Sunday now, not this upcoming, but the next one after that will be the wedding of my cousin, and that's a big deal. So I got a lot to do. I got to get a suit and got to get, I guess, we'll check see if we got the gift for them or not. It might be something I might do. I am taking off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week, or not this week, next week. So we'll see how that goes about that. This is also the last week of my wife's asinine schedule that she had to do because she had to do some training. So her schedule was all whacked out, and this is the final week of it. So Thursday on my birthday will be the last day she has to deal with the stupid schedule. So she works one regular day, and then she's off for a week because of summer camp, and then she'll be back and work that first week of July with the July 4th off, and I think that she's taking July 5th off also. As of now, don't know if our company's closing for July 5th. This should be. They really should, because it just makes the most sense, but what do I know? Apparently nothing. So we got that going on. It is Father's Day. I got a really cool Orioles-Ravens wreath from my daughter before she left, and it was also Flag Day on Friday. It's Fleet Week down in Baltimore, so we had a flyover at our work as they were practicing for the flyover they did on Saturday. So that was kind of cool. So summer vacation is hit for my kids. There's no such thing as summer vacation for my wife and I, because even though she's taking a week off camp, she still has to run things and take care of things, make sure all the kids are all right. So it's not really a break for her. Plus, she's got to do stuff up there anyway to kill the time. So it's going to be a crazy few weeks coming up here soon. I guess it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Watched Hitman. It was on June 7th. So today's the 16th. So it was 9 days ago. Last week. Hitman hit 10.8 million views in its first few days, which is outstanding. So congratulations to that. It's a really good movie, and definitely need to check that out. It is very fun. And as I said, it's Richard Linklater by way of the Coen brothers. So if you like both of them, you'll probably like this movie. Plus, Glenn Powell's excellent again, where he gets to portray different characters. It's really cool. Tubi tops Max and Disney Plus in most streaming ratings. So people are streaming Tubi more than Max and Disney Plus. So that's interesting to see that. The haters who are hating on Disney and saying, Pixar's dead. Disney doesn't know what they're doing. Their last few movies have been suck-worthy. They haven't made any money, blah, blah. And then they saw Inside Out 2, like, another shitty movie from Pixar. It's going to tank, stuff like that. Fuck you, assholes. I told you it wasn't going to, and it's on tap now for $140 to $150 million opening due to the fact that it made $13 million on preview night, which was Thursday, and $62 million in one day on Friday. So you can just suck my balls, bitch. So that's what I'm looking at. Saturday probably had more. So right now that's $75 million right there. That's officially counted. They don't have Saturday's numbers. They don't have today's numbers yet, but they're projecting today's numbers, and we'll get Saturday's numbers probably later this week or later this day or whatever. But 75 million right now. They only need to do 75 million over the next 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, and I think they're going to do that to get that $150 million plateau. The first movie to open with $100+ million opening this year. So it seems like Pixar is still doing pretty damn good, you ass fuckers. So why don't you shut the fuck up, you pieces of shit? Go to hell. Also, all you haters who say comic book movies are dead, Deadpool Wolverine is propping itself up for a $200 million opening weekend. So you can go suck my dick as well, bitches. So dumb fucks don't know a goddamn thing that bit you in the ass. Stupid fuck faces. So there you go. So good news all around for everybody. My favorite band of all time, REM, reunited this week to get entered into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. No, they are not announcing a comeback. They are happy the way things are right now, happy the way things ended. So they just want to be back together for their induction into the Hall of Fame. So now they're in two Hall of Fame, songwriting and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So pretty goddamn impressive, you ask me. MGM Plus, which I guess is a part of Amazon, is set to produce The Institute, a show based on the Stephen King novel with Ben Barnes and Mary Louise Parker starring in it. It's like an X-Men on crack sort of thing, where it's an institute where kids with superpowers are held against their will and stuff like that. So we'll see how that rolls around. After much pushing off and waiting and all this stuff, Fantastic Four is set to begin filming in July, which would give it about a year before it comes out again. Makes perfect sense. You start filming it in July, you get the production done by end of August, maybe early September, and then special effects will get it ready in time for July of next year. So Fantastic Four is set to start filming in July. So that's outstanding. See what I got. Nobody 2 is set to start filming in August with Bob Odenkirk returning. A surprise hit about an older gentleman who goes all John Wick on people. Noah Hawley's Alien show is said to be entitled Alien. I think it's New World. Never World or something like that. Neverland, something like that. So that's pretty cool. Manny Jacinto, who was in The Good Place and The Acolyte, is in talks to star in the Freaky Friday sequel that is being made with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. And Emily Blunt is in talks to star in the new Spielberg UFO movie. I think that'd be outstanding. We'll get her in there. Kevin Smith has been away in Oregon helping a buddy of his make his first film. He produced it and is helping him edit it as well, and is actually in it, I believe, also. So that'll be good to see that, and that's good to see that he appreciates that. So good on that. Space Cadet trailer coming to Prime on July 4th. It's basically Legally Blonde, but with NASA, except it's a little bit different because in Legally Blonde, Reese Witherspoon's character was actually smart. She just was this Valley Girl sort of type. But we have a Valley Girl type who's not that smart, who best friend lies on her resume so that she gets a chance to go into NASA, and then she's got to prove herself because that was her dream forever. So it looks silly and probably not something I would watch, but who knows? Blue Beetle animated series is said to be in the works based on the 2023 movie. The San Francisco Giants gave away a Lucille versus Godzilla bobblehead. Lucille is their mascot, and that's really like an excellent idea. They should do a Baltimore show with the Baltimore Oriole bird taking on Godzilla at Camden Yards. I think that'd be freaking outstanding. The Sunny trailer, Rashida Jones's new show coming to, I think it was Prime. Didn't really check it out because it didn't look all that interesting to me, but there it is. Some NHL news, which is interesting. I haven't heard that. A new NHL Utah hockey team got their new name, and they are the Utah Hockey Club. Yeah. The Utah Hockey Club versus the Toronto Raptors. No, that's a basketball team, excuse me. The Las Vegas, it's a good one. The Utah Hockey Club versus the Las Vegas Raiders. No, it's not Raiders. Golden Knights, Las Vegas. It just doesn't roll off the tongue, but it's perfectly on par with what Utah is. So go with that. Shoresy, the Canadian show that's set around hockey, is starting the first ever Shoresy Fall Classic, which pits stars of the Shoresy show, including the main actor who plays Shoresy, against NHL alumni from various teams for charity, stuff like that. So it's a fun little match to have them go up there. Hollywood is always in trouble. They have no original ideas, no sequels, and all kinds of stuff. Stuff using there's no new creation, and stuff that is new creations don't do very well for whatever reason. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. But the one thing that they are notorious for are remakes, and we've got 2 that were announced, and they're just sort of like, really? First up, Miles Teller is set to remake An Officer and a Gentleman, which I think is a stupid idea. There's no reason to remake good movies. The best thing about that is find movies that underachieved or did very badly and reboot them to make them be good. Like a good example is the movie Toys with Robin Williams. Now, Robin Williams sort of made that movie, and it'd be hard to remake it without him, but you could do like a Jim Carrey or something like that, or a what's his face? God damn it, I can't remember his name. SNL, Lego movie. Will Ferrell, yeah, Will Ferrell. I get a Will Ferrell to do it, sort of thing. But it had a good idea, but it could have been the 90s version of Willy Wonka, but in a toy factory. But they went off on a totally different tangent. It also had a very strong anti-war sentiment, which was fine also. But just some of the stuff that happened in it was just a little, as a movie that could have done a lot better. I saw it in the movie theater because it looked really good, but just something about it. And Worth Winning is another good one. I love Mark Harmon. He's perfect in it, but you could get like a Glenn Powell to do this remake, and it probably wouldn't fly now. It's basically about a womanizing weatherman who is a big stud, but he is goopy inside when it comes to children. His best friend's daughter, he absolutely dotes on doors. So his best friend, a psychiatrist, is like, what you need, you just need to have, you need to settle down and learn some humility or whatever. So he makes a bet, is like, you have 3 months to get engaged to 3 different women. I get to pick the women, and maybe you'll find the woman of your dreams, which is romantic comedy, and he does. But because it all screws up, and it's a lot of physical comedy and stuff like that, it's a pretty funny movie. And then it just sort of loses it near the end again. But that could have been a good remake that could have been done. So another one is Enemy Mine remake in the works with Picard showrunner. Enemy Mine is a movie that wasn't screaming for a remake, but a lot of people don't know the movie. And it's a interesting idea. And I guess it could make a good, of the 2, I think that would probably be a better, because everybody knows An Officer and a Gentleman, but not a lot of people know Enemy Mine. So that one could actually work out a little bit better, particularly if you have the Picard showrunner who's doing such a good job with Picard. So we'll see. That one, nice thing about More and More, that one's not such a bad idea, even though Enemy Mine is a good movie, but it's just one that people don't have the knowledge of. And it would be kind of good to, and maybe that's something else you need to do, is a movie that sort of got swept away. People don't really know much about. It's like, oh, do you remember this one? And then you sort of remake that like 30, 40 years later and kind of update it. That might not be a bad idea. Now, I don't think it was a flop, and it wasn't a hit. It was like one of those just sort of steady ones. And I think that's the type of, like Iron Eagle's another one you could probably remake, though people would probably say it's a Top Gun imitation, or Foxfire would be a good one. Or Firefox, or whatever that one, the one where Clint Eastwood is in a like stealth bomber sort of thing, action film sort of thing that a lot of people don't know about. Could be pretty cool now with all the more modern, updated airplanes, stuff like that. Get Tom Cruise to do it, like a version of Top Gun, but you could do Top Gun 3, could be this Firefox thing, whatever. So So some deaths before we hit all these anniversaries. Angela Bafil, an R&B musician, died this week. Vyacheslav Zudov, a cosmonaut who is one of the only Suez cosmonauts to have a splashdown, died this week as well. And Seven, the dog who played Dog on Walking Dead, passed away this week as well. Anniversaries. As I said, this is the week of anniversaries. We have a ton of anniversaries. This is just, I think there's multiple ones on every page. All right, that one's, there's only three, I'm sorry. There's only three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. So we got close to 40 or 50 anniversaries. Because again, it's that summertime thing where, you get the summer movies and you also get like endings of TV shows and stuff like that. And there's some history involved in here, which we'll get to at the very end of this. We're going to discuss for a little bit. But first up, Top Secret, the follow-up to Airplane, which was just as funny as Airplane, though it's a bit more sexual humor than Airplane, but it's still worth it for a couple of reasons. One, Val Kilmer's absolutely fun portrayal. It was this one and Real Genius are like the two movies that he seems like he's having the most fun making. And then I think Top Gun's another one he looks like he was having fun making, and even Top Gun Maverick he looked like he was having fun making, and also Tombstone. But still, Val Kilmer has sort of always been, but this is one where he just seems like having a blast doing it. So you have Val Kilmer's performance, which is outstanding, and you have the classic underwater bar fight, which is one of the greatest fight sequences ever put on film, and one of the freaking funniest ones ever as well. So good on that. I'll wait on that one because I have a story about that. Rocky 2, 45 years ago this week. Bull Durham, 36 years ago this week. That's another good baseball movie. Batman Begins, 19 years ago this week. That's the Christian Bale, Chris Nolan one. The Monster Squad, fantastic movie, 34 years ago this week, opened this week. The Cable Guy opened 28 years ago this week. A misfire for me after Jim Carrey's stellar opening of his career. And Scooby-Doo with my SMG and Freddie Prinze and Matthew Lillard and I forget the other actress, Heather Matarazzo, I think. 22 years ago this week. Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is the first of many Spielberg movies that came out around this time. Came out 43 years ago this week. A story about that. I've told this one a million times, but it's about time to tell a refresher for those who might not have watched my older episodes. 43 years ago when it came out this week, so my birthday was a week later. And my parents gave us things like, on your birthday, you get to pick what movie you want to go to. So we'll go to see that movie in the movie theater as a family, and then we'll go out to dinner afterwards. That was like a big, birthday thing. So my sister, who's 3 years older than I am, she was dying to see Raiders. And she was trying to convince me to go see Raiders. And I said, no, I want to see Cannonball Run 2, I think. It's either Cannonball Run or Cannonball Run 2. I think it was Cannonball Run 2. So I chose Cannonball Run 2 over Raiders of the Lost Ark. The original Cannonball Run's pretty good, and Cannonball Run 2, not so good. I think it was Cannonball Run 2. It was one of the Cannonball Run movies, but I chose that. But also, you have to remember, in 81, I was 8 years old. So, but in retrospect now, I probably should have gone to see Raiders because Raiders is a classic. And at that time, you didn't know it was going to be a classic. So, moron. History, though. And I'm surprised that it didn't get as much coverage as I expected. June 12th. 30 years ago, which made that June 12th, 1994. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were brutally slaughtered and murdered, allegedly by O.J. Simpson. Now, everybody in the world knows O.J. probably did it, but he was cleared of all cases in a court case, though he was in another court case found liable for their deaths and had to pay out money for them, and then ended up getting in jail for stealing his own memorabilia that he sold. So he wasn't a good guy anyway to begin with, and he beat Nicole Brown, and we know that he was hugely jealous. We know all that also, and it just seemed like there was just so much on him, and it was almost like an open shut case. But at that time in early 90s, mid 90s, Los Angeles, it was a highly racist boiler pot. They had just gone through a massive riot, which took a week to get through after a defenseless black man was beaten to almost near death by police officers for a traffic stop. And they got acquitted of beating this guy. And it was just a huge powder keg in Los Angeles. The movie Falling Down has a good look at what Los Angeles was like during that time. So people were looking at this crazily, and it was a big deal at the time. Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman were slaughtered late at night on June 12th, 30 years ago this week. Then the big news is on June 13th, there was a warrant was put out for OJ's arrest. He was out in Chicago or something like that. So he had to fly back home to not be suspicious, to follow up with, watch his kids and, handle all that stuff. But he was a suspect. And so he ended up running and got into his white Bronco and became one of the most famous chase sequences in reality television history. That happened 30 years ago this week as well, the Bronco chase with OJ. Now, the court case lingered through 1996, but for those 2 years, 94 to 96, that was like all this country was obsessed with, was the OJ Simpson trial. And the powder keg that started off was this week's 30th anniversaries, and I saw nothing in the news about it. And I guess OJ Simpson died earlier this year, so maybe they did all their discussing about that at that time, but you'd think that it might be something that might be at least worth a mention, or at least the brilliant ESPN 30 by 30 documentary they made about that day, June 13th, 1994. One of the best documentaries I'd ever seen, because basically it was the NBA Finals was going on. It was a major big game, like Game 7, I think. And then the NHL had just crowned their Stanley Cup champion. There was a parade going on at the same time. And then this Bronco chase came in and cut it. And there was like some baseball stuff going on also. So the Bronco chase came in and just took over everyone's attention from all this other stuff. Now, a funny story about that actually not Kurt Russell, but his stepdaughter, which he calls basically his daughter, mentioned was they live right down the street from OJ. So when the Bronco was coming back to the house and the massive mob of news reporters and the helicopter that was following the chase was flying overhead, Kurt Russell decided he wanted to go down and see for himself. So he goes down the street to OJ's house, literally like just a block down the street, if that. And you can see him clear as day in the footage from the helicopter as OJ's car pulls into his driveway. There's Kurt Russell just to the left. It's like, what the hell is Kurt Russell doing there? It's funny as hell. Kate Hudson, that's the one who mentioned it in her story. So I think that's kind of surprised that didn't really register with people. I mean, I guess it makes sense, I suppose. But it's a big deal. 30 years, people like to celebrate these sort of weird things. Now, 7 days later, on June 20th, 1994, would be my 21st birthday. And I could not go out and celebrate because my grandmother was undergoing bypass surgery. So it wouldn't be, and she was older, so she could have passed away. You don't know what's going on. So I could not go out and celebrate my 21st birthday on my actual 21st birthday. My sister took me out about a month later after my grandmother, recovered from her bypass surgery, but still kind of interesting. And then 4 years later, she passed away right around the week before my birthday on June 14th. And the funeral was the day before my birthday. So it was the first grandparent that I'd lost that I remember. I don't remember my paternal grandfather because he died when my dad was 13. So it's kind of a big deal. So I don't know. I think Noah's playing with Hunt's friend Hunter. All right. So now, anniversary-wise, we only have 1, 2, 3, so may as well hit those as well. Speaking of Spielberg, Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out 47 years ago this week. So as I said, Spielberg likes this weekend in June. I mean, you're going to find out a whole bunch of other movies that he did came out around the same time. And I would assume probably that this UFO movie he's doing potentially with Emily Blunt is probably going to come out around the same time again, probably next year. Or maybe not, might not be, depends on when they start filming it. The Incredible Hulk, the second of the MCU movies to come out 16 years ago this week, came out this week. Iron Man came out a month ago in May, 16 years ago, but The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton debuted 16 years ago this week. We are potentially getting a pseudo sequel to it in next summer's Thunderbolts, which will be out in May of 2025. And The Witches of Eastwick, Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer, I want to say Susan Sarandon, and Cher debuted 37 years ago this week. And another death we had was Howard Feynman, a political commentator, died this week as well. So in this case, all the rest is news stuff. Sony Pictures acquires the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema Group. So they will be running Alamo Drafthouse, which Alamo Drafthouse, I heard it's a really, really good cinema. And in the old days, I think cinemas used to own, like distribution companies used to own cinemas all the time, but it hasn't happened for a while. But now we're back to that with Sony acquiring Alamo Drafthouse cinemas, which is good. After collecting more data, back on June 5th here in Maryland, we were inundated with 7 tornadoes. But after collecting more data, weathermen and scientists discovered that actually 13 tornadoes touched down in Maryland on June 5th, which was 11 days ago. So kind of shame about that. Russell Crowe unloads on actors who expect comic movie roles to change their lives. It was kind of an interesting thing. He was mostly going off against Dakota Johnson, who was lamenting her role in Madam Web, and Russell Crowe just couldn't hold his tongue anymore. And I kind of appreciate, him going. He didn't, I don't think, come after her, but he sort of intimated that. And there was a lot of other actors out there who said they would refuse to do that or were embarrassed by what they did and stuff like that because it's cool to bash comic movies now. Despite the fact that the only comic movie coming out this year is going to probably make $200 million in its opening weekend. So that's besides the point. Yeah, just keep telling me they're dead. Though the DCU under James Gunn might have their first release. It hasn't been put on the schedule yet, but it's rumored that Creature Commandos, his animated film that's going to start off his DCU, is set to debut in December. So we might have that pop up. It is not presently on the schedule, but we'll see if that actually could change down the line, which it absolutely could. Last week, I told you that Johnny Depp will be playing Satan and Jeff Bridges will be playing God in Terry Gilliam's new movie. Well, we have a little bit more information about that. Jason Momoa and Adam Driver are joining the cast as well. And the movie is entitled The Carnival at the End of Days. So that's what that's all about. So it could be an interesting cast starting already. So 3 of the 4 people in the cast Terry Gilliam's worked with. So Jason Momoa is a Gilliam virgin, as it were. So we'll see how that goes. Those About to Die trailer is Roland Emmerich's Gladiator show on Peacock. Debuted its first trailer. It looks okay. Jurassic World 4 Started filming in Thailand this week with Scarlett Johansson. The Instigators trailer is Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. Is going to be on Apple TV on August 9th. Could care less about it. Idris Elba and Rebecca Ferguson to star in Catherine Bigelow's untitled film on Netflix. So Catherine Bigelow is an Academy Award-winning director and two pretty good action actors, so it'll be pretty good. Transformers G.I. Joe crossover film is set to star Chris Hemsworth and is going to be written by Jurassic World writer Derek Conley. Christina Ricci and Hamish Linklater are set to star in the funeral home true crime drama show Chop Shop. That's comics. My Spy, the Eternal City trailer reteams David Bautista with his young co-star back from, I think, 2020, 2021, set to debut on Prime on July 18th. The trailer for that came out this week. We got a teaser trailer for The Substance, which is a body horror film with Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, and has lots of sexually charged full frontal nudity aspects to it as well. Grace Van Patten, speaking of Margaret Qualley, Grace Van Patten is set to take over for Margaret Qualley in the Amelia Knox limited series due out here soon. Lee Cronin to partner with Blumhouse, Atomic Monster, and New Line for a new film. He's the guy that directed the Evil Dead Rise movie that did really well. M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, which was set to debut on August 9th, has been moved up to August 2nd. Oops, I didn't do that one yet. House of Dragons, which just debuts tonight, I believe, has already been renewed for season 3 and before the season 2 even comes out. The Wild Robot, which is an absolutely stunning DreamWorks animated film. I saw the first trailer for it. It was absolutely perfect. The second one came out this week, has reduced my perfection for it just slightly because we actually get to hear the people talking. I thought it would have been better to do it without dialogue, but this has a lot of dialogue in it, and we get a general idea of what the story is about. And it's still, to me, is going to be a great movie. I think I'm going to be taking that Friday off anyway because Interstellar's 10th anniversary is coming out in IMAX, and I want to see that on that day also. So I could do that and see Wild Robot, which is debuting the same day. Go out and see both of those. I might end up doing that. That's not until September 27th, though. But definitely worth it. I mean, I still want to see it, but I kind of liked it without the dialogue. But I guess you got to have it to tell the story you want to tell. But it still looks absolutely gorgeous. It still looks like it's going to be a great movie. But I don't know, just having the animals and stuff talk is just a little, we'll see. Still want to see it though. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely still want to see it. Go-Go Mystery Machine, a Scooby-Doo anime, is set to debut here soon. Catherine Legea to play live-action Moana, John Tui to play her dad, Frankie Adams to play her mom, and Renna Green is set to play Grandma. So they've gotten pretty much Hawaiian actresses and actors to play the roles in live-action Moana. Image Comics is creating something called the Horizon Experiment. It is 5 one-shots, which feature original protagonists from marginalized groups of people set in your favorite genres. Like you have a Chinese James Bond, you have a black monster killer sort of thing. You have like a Muslim cleric or something like that who does. So it's done by artists and writers from those marginalized people, and it looks really, really good and very intriguing, and it's coming out I think in September, so that might be something to keep an eye on for that. Lunar Standstill is set to occur for the first time in 18 years It's something that happens every 18 years. And basically, what it is, the moon rises and sets at its most extreme points while also climbing to its highest and lowest points in the sky. So it's one of these weird little things that only happens every 18.6 years, they say. So it's the last time it happened was 18.6 years. So it's supposed to be set to debut sometime this week, I believe. A Haunted Paws is a video game where you play as a dog who needs to save his family from a haunted house. And the why on earth would you do this? Chick-fil-A is in Louisiana has a unique summer camp idea. For $35, your child can work at a Chick-fil-A. It's camp. They'll work during camp time. They will not get paid. They're actually paying Chick-fil-A to actually work for them so they can see how to fry French fries and the chicken nuggets and how to make the sandwiches and how it works in the back and the cash register, stuff like that. You are paying $35 for your children to work at Chick-fil-A, and they will not pay them. They'll probably give them free food, but it's for those kids that I guess have always been interested to see, they love Chick-fil-A and to see how it works. And it's a summer camp where you work at Chick-fil-A and you pay them to work at Chick-fil-A for a week. I don't know. I wish I was making it up. I'm not. Here's two, and I got one more story elsewhere later on coming up, which I think it's on this page. It's on this page. Oh, well. Yep, there it is. Okay. A white spotted bear has been seen in Malaysia, which is unusual to see. 1 in 500,000 black deer spotted in Poland. And a white buffalo was born in Yellowstone National Park. All this happened this week. And the Lakotas believe that is sign of good fortune, a change for the better is coming. And an orangutan, after watching a fisherman catch fish with a spear, learned to catch fish himself with a spear. Crazy animal stuff going on, but those bizarre 1 in 500,000 sightings of a white spotted bear and a black deer and a white buffalo are all signs that something is coming. Nature is getting ready to brew something, or your spirit is going to change for the better, hopefully. So we'll see how that all works out. Now, speaking of other animals, a baby Irrawaddy dolphin was discovered to be in a group of Indo-Pacific humpback dolphins, which usually does not happen. So obviously an orphan baby was taken in by this different species of dolphin, is now a member of the family. So it goes to show you that, adoption covers, the entire animal kingdom. Any more animal news for you? Nope. Any other animal stuff that I can see here? No. Yeah, I think the rest is just regular stuff. Paul Giamatti, who last week I told you was joining Eli Roth's Hostel TV show, which makes no sense whatsoever to me to even have a Hostel TV show, let alone have Paul Giamatti, one of the most respected Academy Award nominated actors of all time. I don't know if he's won one, but if he did, I think he won this year for the holdovers. No, he didn't. Killian beat him. That's right. But he's doing a Hostel TV show, which is weird. Then this week, Paul Giamatti has been cast in the new Starfleet Academy TV show as well, in a big role too. So he's going to be making a bunch of TV roles coming up here, which are a little bit unusual for his acting. So, but Paul Giamatti being a Starfleet Academy makes more sense to me than him being in Hostel. So, whatever. The Boys is set to end with season 5. Season 4 was just released, so season 5 will be the end when that gets released as well. Natalie Portman, Emilia Clarke, Margot Martindale, and Johnny Vegas are set to voice the Twits in an animated Roald Dahl movie for Netflix in 2025. It is the first, I believe, ever adaptions of the Twits written by Roald Dahl. No one has ever done a Roald Dahl Twits movie before. And now Netflix, who owns the rights to Roald Dahl's books and stuff like that, is making this animated film with those actors doing the voices, which is cool. Conjuring TV show is still in the works at Max. Okay, they've got one more Conjuring movie, I think, coming out next year, I believe. Taylor Tomlinson's After Midnight is renewed for a second season. That's good for her because she's really good. Tim Meadows is set to join Peacemaker Season 2. Robert Pattinson is set to join Smile director for Possession Remake, a movie that came out in the 1980s. MCU's Blade loses its director, which continues to be a snake-bit movie, though Mahershala Ali is still happy with it and likes the new draft that came through. But I think when they did the new draft that Mahershala Ali liked, the director who was going to direct it didn't like the idea, so he got rid of it. Cooper Hoffman, the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, and David Janssen to star in The Long Walk, based on a Richard Bachman short story. For those who are in the know, Richard Bachman is the pen name that Stephen King used to write a few things, so it'll be a Stephen King adaptation coming out here soon. Disney Plus teased a bizarre thing starring Pinocchio. It says it's set to debut on September 8th on Disney Plus, and all it is Pinocchio in shadow with the words, "All he wants is human flesh." I don't know what that's about, but it is a Disney Plus thing. It is not a AI generated thing. It is an actual, because Disney was the one that posted it. So I'm not exactly sure what it is, but you could definitely tell it is Pinocchio silhouette. And it has that phrase on there, which is really bizarre. So we'll see what happens with that. Anime seems to be the new big thing. As I said, there's a new Scooby-Doo anime coming. The Lords of the Rings Ride of Rohirrim animated film, which is due out in December, is also anime influenced. They showed some pictures from the movie, and it's very anime influenced. Paddington in Peru, also known as Paddington 3, set to debut July 17th, and January 17th, and they have a new trailer for that. Cells at Work live action movie had behind the scenes pictures. That's a weird one because Cells at Work is a manga about your red and white blood cells in a specific body as they work to run the person's body. And they are all done anthropomorphically as people. So you have a all person, like almost albino white as a white blood cell, and a woman dressed all in red for the red blood cell. So it should be interesting to see how they actually pull that one off. Kurt Russell and Cole Sprouse are set to join Matthew McConaughey in his film, The Rivals of Amazon. Sausage Party 2 TV show trailer debuted, so yay, Foodtopia, Trey. South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut is releasing a sing-along version in movie theaters, which I find absolutely freaking hilarious. The Talamasca, a new Anne Rice series set in the Immortal Universe, has been picked up for series on AMC, which is slowly becoming the Anne Rice Network, with Interview with the Vampire and The Witching Hour as both shows going on. And this is the third one now to join them. Quentin Tarantino is really getting into books now. He's teaming up to co-write behind-the-scenes memoirs of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Inglourious Bastards with a well-respected film historian. Don't know the guy's name, but he's written a ton of these film behind-the-scene memoir sort of things, and Quentin Tarantino is joining him to co-write memoirs of the making of these two movies, so it could be interesting to see that. Joey Chestnut, who is the world's greatest hot dog eating champion in some people's eyes, has been removed from the July 4th Nathan's hot dog eating contest due to the fact that he is now promoting a new brand of hot dog that Nathan's does not want anything to do with. So they have removed them and banned him from participating in the 4th of July hot dog eating competition. But never fear, my friends. Just in time for Labor Day, Netflix is going to air Joey Chestnut versus Kobayashi, who also people say is the best hot dog eating competitor in the world, for a hot dog eating contest between the two of them to air on Netflix on Labor Day. So you're going to get your fix of Joey Chestnut, just not on 4th of July. You're going to have to wait till Labor Day and watch it on Netflix. Bizarre. Deaths this week. Homer Rice, college sports icon, died at the age of 97. Brad Ducey, linebacker for the Redskins, died this week as well. Ed Stone, project scientist for the Voyager program, died this week as well. Ben Potter, YouTube comic historian, died at the age of 40. The biggest death of the week, though, has to be Jerry West, the iconic NBA player, coach. He is the one that influenced and is the inspiration for the NBA logo that you see on everything. Jerry West passed away this week. Anniversaries. Continuing our Steven Spielberg loves the second week of June. E.T. debuted 42 years ago this week. That was another one we missed out on for whatever reason. Me, my sister, and my family did not watch it until August. And we were house sitting for my grandparents because they were out on vacation. And so we were there in August, and we decided, let's just go to the movies. We hadn't seen E.T. yet because everybody had seen it. It was a huge hit by that time. So we went to the movie theater. They had like one other dude in it, and we watched E.T. in the movie theater. So that was wild. But yeah, we didn't see that till August. Ferris Bueller's Day Off debuted 38 years ago this week. Coincidentally enough, also, his actual day off was on June 5th. They've figured out. Super 8, a Steven Spielberg produced movie directed by J.J. Abrams, debuted 13 years ago this week. City Slickers debuted 33 years ago this week. Can't Hardly Wait with the luscious Jennifer Love Hewitt debuted 26 years ago this week. Predator debuted 37 years ago this week. Okay. I'll hit these. There's a whole bunch of anniversaries here. Dick Tracy debuted 34 years ago this week. Fantastic, underrated movie. Batman Forever debuted 29 years ago this week. Jagged Little Pill, the Alanis Morissette classic album, debuted also 29 years ago this week. Gremlins 2, The New Batch, also debuted 34 years ago this week. The Crush debuted 31 years ago this week. It was Alicia Silverstone's first movie. Tombstone debuted 30 years ago this week. 13 Ghosts debuted 20 years ago this week. And The Bourne Identity debuted 22 years ago this week. Bill Belichick, age 72, is now dating a 24-year-old cheerleader. Good for him, I guess, but there's a 48-year difference between the two of them. That's kind of a little odd. Excuse me. Okay. So we're on the last page here. And this is going to be the last story right here because I wanted to make sure I did that as the last story. All right. And that's Oregon. So we'll do Oregon together. We'll do these two together. All right. The HF Festival, which is a music festival that was huge here in the Baltimore, Washington area. HFS was a local radio station that played alternative music in the late 80s and early 90s, music you would not hear on regular radio, that got a lot of people excited about these, unique independent musicians. And these have these festivals that were huge. These bands would come and would just play all day, and it was a huge concert event, sold out completely, and then it just sort of dissipated as the music sphere changed. Now HF Festival is back. This is more of for a nostalgic for the people who grew up during that time, because the bands they've got playing it are bands you would have heard on HF Festival in the old days. You've got Bush, you've got Garbage, Tonic, Violet Femmes, Filter, Jimmy Eat World, Death Cab for Cutie, the Wedding, or the Wedding Present or something like that. I can't read that in my writing there. Incubus. So yeah, you got some heavy hitters there from the old days. Mixtape Trailer is an animated film, which is animated in a unique way, which has a very 90s soundtrack as well. The Penguin to premiere on Max in September. What is it? The Killer Clown movie. I can't read what his name is. Trembler, whatever. David Howard Thornton is set to play Steamboat Willie in Screamboat, the horror adaptation of the Mickey Mouse thing there. Practical Magic 2 is in the works right now with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman coming back. Everybody's like, what kind of story can they tell? Well, the writer Alice Hoffman actually wrote a series of books about the witches, and the writer can take from that. Now, it's been almost 20 plus years since the movie came out, but should still be okay. Scooby-Doo live action show on Netflix is set to debut here soon as well. Aaron Kellyman from The Falcon and Winter Soldier is set to join 28 years later, which is presently filming right now. Futurama Season 12 is set to debut on July 29th on Hulu. Ryan Seacrest is take over Wheel of Fortune. Who's surprised? Not me. Andrew Stanton, who directed, I believe, Finding Nemo or Monsters, Inc., or one of those, is set to direct Toy Story 5, which actually makes that seem like a much better choice. If the Toy Story 5 is a movie that I'm not that enthralled about, but if you got Andrew Stanton directing it, he's actually one of the premier best directors that Pixar has had, and I think he would be a brilliant choice for it, and I think it could be good in that case. Angelica Houston, Oliver Jackson Cohen is set to join Towards Zero, an Agatha Christie film. Where's the other Agatha Christie story? Mia McKenna is set to lead a new Agatha Christie series called The Seven Dias Mystery, which is going to set to star Martin Freeman and Helena Bonham Carter as well. So Agatha Christie is making a quick comeback right through here. A solar storm slammed into Mars in May, and NASA has the pics of it, including Aurora Borealis in the skies over Mars. John Hawkes and Pat Healy are set to join the Criminal series, Ed Brubaker's Criminal series on Prime. The first look at Benoit Blanc in the new Knives Out movies debuted this week as well, and it is a Benoit that we're not used to seeing, so it could be interesting to see where they're going to be going with that. Memoirs of a Snail is a new animated movie. Trailer came out for that. Didn't really interest me too much. I didn't really watch it too much. Yain Abdul Mateen II is set to star in the Man on Fire Netflix series based on the Denzel Washington movie. Thunderbird skull has been discovered in Australia. That's 5,000 years old. The Decameron show, I guess, set debut July 25th on Netflix, is a 14th century horror film. Don't see much from the 14th century. Stories based in the 14th century, so it should be interesting to see about that. Oregon stories. It's snowing today on Mount Hood out in Oregon. And a fire department had to rescue 28 people who were stuck upside down on the Atmosphere ride at Oregon amusement park. Is Josh Gad writing Spaceballs 2? We've been dying to see a Spaceballs 2 forever. Once it was teased with The Search for More Money. It's being titled The Search for More Money. But it's been close to 30-some years since Spaceballs came out, and it's never gotten made. But with History of the World Part 2 coming out last year on Hulu, Spaceballs 2 might be primed for a resurrection. And if Josh Gad is involved with it, it could be just as interesting. He tweeted something that was very, it's like a picture which showed some stuff blacked out of a script he was writing that people are tearing apart, and said it looks like that he crossed out on characters based on Mel Brooks's, and then the movie's blacked out, but he also said referred to some space stuff as well. So it looks as though Josh Gad is currently going to be writing a Spaceballs 2 script right now. He's kind of busy right now. He's written and directing a Chris Farley biopic, which will be out probably sometime next year. So it'll be interesting to see that. So finally got into the Fallout stuff. My daughter's been dying to watch it, and since it was her last night with us last night, she's been dying to watch it. We were able to sit and watch 3 of the 8 episodes. And it's entertaining, but I have no frame of reference for Fallout, so I don't know a lot of the in jokes or the jokes or the call outs or whatever. It's a interesting premise that just seems to be moving a little slow for me, but yes, it's only episode 3 of 8, so we've got 5 more episodes to go, and it should pick up a little bit. I mean, it just is. Seems to me it's going a little slow, and it's just kind of a meh feeling for me right now. Good acting for the most part. Good special effects. But the story itself is just kind of a meandering mess right now for me anyway. My daughter absolutely loved it. Of course, she probably would. And my wife was a similar feel for what I have also. So we'll see what happens. But yes, I have seen the first 3 of Fallout. Haven't seen the rest of them yet. So we'll check that. And I haven't checked out the new episode of Acolyte yet. So I'm going to do that sometime soon. So we'll see what happens with that. Still worth it. I mean, check it out. If you know Fallout, probably a good thing too. And it's, Jonathan Nolan is the director and stuff like that. It's Christopher Nolan's brother. They've worked together on a bunch of stuff, and he's done some stuff on his own. He did the Westworld show on HBO, and he did I think Person of Interest with Michael Emerson, who makes an appearance in this as well. Kyle MacLachlan's in this as well, who I adore also. And I had his name, but the guy who plays the ghoul is fantastic as well. He was the guy who's in Ant-Man 2 and in Justified. So, interesting looking. As I said, it's only I've only watched 3 episodes of 8, so I still have 5 more to go. The story is intriguing enough, but it just seems to be slow meandering a little bit. But I guess you got to set up stuff, set up the world, so on and so forth. But we'll see what happens with that. Don't know when we're going to get to the rest of it. I mean, my daughter's like, oh, yeah, I'll be back on Saturdays and we can watch some episodes there. I was like, you're going to be exhausted, babe. Probably. You're going to need to do stuff because we got to go right back out on Sunday. So We'll see what happens. A bunch of anniversaries before we hit the final story for the week. Continuing our Steven Spielberg likes the second week in June. Jurassic Park debuted 31 years ago this week. Is there any other? No. So that's the last of the Steven Spielberg movies that debuted this week. A big one debuts this upcoming week, particularly on my birthday. From 1975, Jaws debuted on June 20th, 1975. So we'll see. We'll discuss that next week. Naked Gun debuted 36 years ago this week. Speed debuted 30 years ago this week, which made Keanu Reeves a household name, and Sandra Bullock as well. James Bond's Octopussy debuted 41 years ago this week. Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie debuted 19 years ago this week. A Christmas Story debuted 41 years ago this week. Outstanding. TV shows, Buffy's series finale debuted, series finale debuted 21 years ago. So it's been 21 years since Sarah Michelle Gellar was Buffy. And Twin Peaks season 2 finale debuted 33 years ago this week. Wow. That's really, really old too. And my favorite band of all time, REM, released Fables of the Reconstruction, one of my least favorite albums, 39 years ago this week. Now, the final story of this truncated episode of Dylan Knows on Father's Day. Woman who married a rag doll admits life has been complicated after giving birth to twins. Rag dolls. Yes, this is a woman who actually married a non-living rag doll and had twins, made twins, I should say, but made it seem like she delivered them, and says life is complicated. And yet, they also have a picture of the family, which had 3 kids. So did they have one before? And they all appear to be the same age, too. Do they not age? I know I shouldn't make fun, but it just, when people do stuff like this, when they marry rag dolls, when they marry pirate ghosts, when they marry furniture, it seems like they're screaming out for attention. And we should just let them live their life, I guess, but still, it just seems rather odd. You know, people who married a blow-up doll. At least with that, you can get off with some actual sex with that, but I don't know. Just weird little thing there. So I'm going to leave it on that on your Father's Day here. So the rag doll, congratulations. Happy Father's Day to you, Mr. Ragdoll Man. Oh, crap. So there we go. Next week's episode, we'll see when we do it. I might do it on Sunday, which should be Sunday where I'll be home alone, or I might do it Saturday night before my family leaves. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet, but it's my birthday week. It's going to be the week from hell temperature-wise. I read earlier the temperatures for this week. And it's first week of work for my daughter, and the first week that my son's going to have to not do anything with this time. He's going to be doing some CIT stuff in July, but right now he's just got a little bit of a break coming up here. And my wife's final week of her asinine work schedule is this week as well. My birthday's on Thursday. First day of summer's Thursday. And then my family leaves me on Sunday. So I don't know exactly when I'm going to do the show. I might do it on Saturday night as usual, or I might wait till they're gone. I'm home alone. We'll see. So look for me sometime this weekend, upcoming Saturday or Sunday. And I'll tell you all about my 51st birthday. All right. Love you guys. Oh, yeah, I just love you. All right. Take care. Happy Father's Day to y'all, and enjoy the shitty, hot, humid, disgusting weather here on the eastern seaboard. I wish I was at Mount Hood where it's snowing right now. But it is my birthday, so don't forget to wish me a happy birthday on Thursday.